the General Assembly meeting. Is there anyone here who was not at that presentation? I don't worry about you all. Okay, a lot of this will be repetitious, but I think important to refresh your memory and where we are and where we hope to be going with this project. This is our current sewage treatment plant. Next slide. Some of the history and facts. It's an antiquated system. When I say antiquated, it serves the entire seaside community, but it only will treat about 25,000 gallons a day. And if only a handful of people are here, that's no problem. But if we get too many people, it becomes quite a problem. So if it's not so much antiquated, it's certainly overused. It existed before 1994. It was initially put in place in 1994. It's about 22 years ago to support a small RV motorhome park and other operations that existed at the ranch on the seaside prior to the golf course, homes, or any condos were developed. It was improved upon in 2004. It's obviously not the seaside community that we have today and that we foresee for the future. The location is undesirable, as again, it was never intended to be permanent where it is. It's located in the neighborhood. You have trucks coming in and out, hauling treated waste. You have odor from the plant, although the maintenance department does their best to alleviate as much as that as they can. You have diesel fumes from trucks. You have overflow occasionally from filling the trucks and leakage from the trucks. And you have wear and tear on the roadways. One person, ironically, didn't realize it, that they thought the trucks only came once a day, or maybe only on the weekend. And when I told her, and she's not here today, when I told her, no, they're there from daylight to dark, 7 days a week, she was quite surprised, to say the least. The replacement is needed. We're concerned about the reliability due to the age of the facility. Again, it has a limited treatment capacity. It's not a matter of if, but when this current system may shut down. If that happens, everything on the seaside community that has to do with water and toilets, it shuts down. Now, for some people, they can lock it and leave. For others, the golf course, the pavilion, the people that live here year-round, the renters, obviously it'd be quite a problem. It's a developer responsibility. Currently, the developer is responsible for any conversion to a new plant. Pat recognized this as a long-term need for a permanent plant, and in 2009, he completed the majority of the infrastructure, including the in-ground piping, the main facility that's across the highway, and that cost about $3 million. I think he mentioned that in his comments today. Unfortunately, lack of funding has consistently delayed construction and implementation. Next slide. Action undertaken. The committee was formed to discuss possible solutions. As I mentioned back in November, we had looked at some options and some solutions. We formed a committee, and that has been done. The committee was comprised of owners in La Ventana and Los Feliz, HOA management, the developer, and it included your 4 elected supervisors that represent La Ventana and Los Feliz. So we tried to be, well, we were as inclusive as possible in owner participation. The replacement cost is $350,000. The current operating budget, our budgets can absorb this large one-time expense, and waiting's not recommended. Again, it's a matter of if, but not a matter of if, but when the current system may fail. Next slide. Well, that didn't work very well, did it? Right, there we go. There's some other This facility is the new water treatment plant that's already built. If you go out the gate at La Ventana and you look across the highway to your left, that nice big building, that's the water treatment plant. That was one of the facilities, including the infrastructure, that was built back in 2009. The new plant will process 350 gallons a day versus our current 25,000 gallons a day. Okay, next slide. Okay, that's just another little bit better picture of it over here. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is the in-ground piping that's already in existence. All the condos and the homes is gravity fed. It all goes down. This infrastructure, the oceans, the Sea of Cortez is down here where the hotel. There's a pumping station down here and there's one down here. This pumps around and up and across the highway to the new treatment facility, and then there's another pipe that goes from the treatment facility back underground to the first lake on the golf course. Oh, that's even better, isn't it? Go back. Yeah, this shows a little bit better. There's a pumping station down here around where Al Linder and some of them live down there. There's one over down below where Charlotte and Jim are. It's over by Carol and them. It looks like the building actually looks like one of the condos, but it's actually a pumping station. So the two pumping stations pump it around and up across the highway. Yes.
Where's the current treatment plant? Is it where the pumping station is?
No, the current treatment plant, you know where Juanita's is?
Yes.
Okay, just go down the main beach road towards the water, turn right at Juanita's, and go about 100 yards, and you can't miss it.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll see it or smell it before you get there.
And then the pumping station is right next to that then?
No, the pumping station is underground about one street down towards the beach, and then the other pumping station is over on the south side of the fairway where the other condos are. And the building sits, it's the last building right next to the golf course, but it's part of a condo complex and it looks like one of the condos. Okay, next. No, back one. Here we go. Conclusions. Assessment of La Ventana and Las Vegas owners. We mentioned back in November that we were looking at that among other options, and we came up with the only viable solution at this time, pending developer funding. A one-time assessment of $600. You'll receive a one-time, not an annual, not anything, one-time assessment, $600. You'll receive an email prior to this assessment. Everybody will get an email blast. We're not going to send that out. The HOA will send that out. We're not sending that out till probably the first part of May. We're going to give Pat a couple more weeks to see if this funding actually comes in place. And we've given him many weeks, but we've pushed this out a little bit. So it'll be the first part of May. After you receive that email blast giving the details of the program and the assessment, then you'll receive an assessment letter from Concord Servicing. Make sure that the HOA, not only for this but in all things, that the HOA has your current email address. When you receive the assessment, if that comes to be from Concord, it'll be due and payable within 90 days or within 30 days with an option for 90 days. Could result in a CAM receivable reduction. Now I refer to CAM, and I know that's, as I've been educated since I've been down here, not a very good term that people don't care too much for. That's just a company that Pat Butler owns. But we have an HOA management fee. That's 15% of our annual dues are payable each year as an HOA management fee. And that's in our contract. And that's always been in our contract. The Mountainside has paid theirs in the past. They still owe some money, and they've made up on that. The La Ventana Del Mar owes about $550,000. The last 2 years, they've paid 10% of their 15% annually, so they are making payments. Las Villas has never made a payment to the 15% management fee since 2006. So we owe over $500,000. This year, 2016, because of our budget structure that Martha and I worked on, and in conjunction, Hans and Denise with La Ventana, we are paying our full 15% management fee for 2016 out of our existing dues without any increase in your dues. And this is the first year we've paid that, but we still owe a lot of money for the management fee. And how that happened or why it happened, it did for a variety of reasons, mainly, as I'm told, that they just didn't have the dues to pay it. I wasn't involved in that, so I'm going to stay away the rhyme or reason. A lot of people know my feelings about how all that happened. But anyway, we owe that. Now, what we're getting in return for our $600 investment and whatever total money or our $600 assessment, whatever total money that generates, we're getting 125% against that. So we're getting $1.25 for every dollar we put in for the sewer treatment plant. So we do, and that's going to go against, not only do we get the asset, a tangible asset in a new plant, but that goes against our homeowner's management fee, or if you relate to that better, either or. So it goes against that balance that we have as a credit. Also, as I said, La Ventana and also Las Villas are making their payments this year. But each time we make a payment on our management fee, the 15%, we also have to, whatever dollars that is, $10,000 a month or whatever. Each time we make that payment, we also have to make a 16% EVA payment, which is a tax. So when we do the credit for the assessment, we don't have to pay the 16% EVA, so we save money there. The other thing is, it wasn't mentioned today, but last November, Pat mentioned on these CAM receivables that in the contract, they can charge 10% a year interest on that CAM receivable. He hasn't done that, and he's guaranteed us, or given us assurances that he's not going to do that, so we're not paying a 10% interest. So you look at it, 125, 130 or 30-some percent savings, or 151%, however you want to do the math. So it's a good deal financially for us to pay down our receivable to get a tangible asset and to take care of something that's been long overdue with the sewer treatment plant. The developer participation are going to provide engineering and project management. He's also going to pay starting next year in our budget, 15% of the annual operation and maintenance costs of the sewer treatment plant. We pay for that. La Ventana and Las Villas, $80,000 or $90,000 a year, something like that is what it costs to run that plant. The good thing about the new plant, it's not going to cost any more. It's going to be more efficient, treatment and all that. And what you see down there, all that will be gone. Actually, a condo building is supposed to go where that is. That'll all be gone, and he will pay 15% of that operation and maintenance costs, and that's for the commercial area, the pavilion, the golf course, and the pool, and Juanita's when that's up and running. It's his contribution. The benefits, it replaces an old system. It was never intended to service the current and future needs. The new one will have the same treatment system, but with appropriate capacity. It eliminates the old facility, that will be gone, and depending on the funding and all that, one of these days, because on the site plans, another building, condo building is to go there. It removes the possibility of a shutdown. It captures gray water for the golf course. Actually, it treats the water, and then it pumps it back. If you remember that schematic, that chart, it pumps it back underground to the first lake, the gray water, once it's treated, back to the first lake on the golf course, and that'll be used as irrigation. Also, the sludge will be treated and dried and pulverized and bagged and used as fertilizer on the golf course and the other landscaping. So we won't have the trucks and all that. It'll all be modernized. The other benefits, it reduces our financial obligation. It's dedicated to the seaside community. It's a tangible asset, and it doesn't require an increase in our dues. And like I said, we're paying, I think, which is, you know, when you get involved with these budgets, I think it's very important that although we have an account receivable, we're not incurring, at least Las Vegas is not incurring any more debt, because with our existing budget, we're paying our 15%. And if you recall, this past January, we did not have an increase in dues in Las Vegas. Any questions? Yes.
As far as the assessment, since the rumor is that not everybody pays their HOA dues, what's the hope that everybody's going to pay the assessment?
Well, we have an in-house collection agency now, and they're doing, it's hard to do foreclosures in Mexico, but they're doing liens. But we've collected thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars in past dues and assessments. So Connie Estera, who used to be in the Mexicali office, she's here on site now doing the collections. And that's between the HOA and the owner in Concord. That'll go against the person's account as a receivable, and then they'll do whatever they do as it relates to collections. And then anyone, if they ever sell a lot or condo or whatever, that'll be held as a lien against that property. Now that's if he doesn't get funding. And we started this really way over a year ago, but with the presentation this past November, and then with the full-blown committee up to this date, and we've hoped all along that obviously that Pat will get funding, but you know, it hasn't happened. I'm optimistic that it will, but who knows? So we're going to move forward with that. Now, I anticipate the initial notification will go out the first part of May, and in all probability, the assessment itself will go out the first part of June from Concord after work out the schedule with Roberto and the HOA. If during that time the developer receives funding, then those monies will be returned.
Or you can just wait until the funding's done?
Well, you can, but you've been waiting, what, I don't know how long you've been here. Maybe you've been waiting 8 years. You want to wait another 8 years? I mean, it's okay, because if it's shut...
$600 in the next month or two.
Well, it'll be...
$500 for the golf course, plus $1,500 for the HOA fees. And we paid over $200,000 for our property, just so we can live on this side. That money should have gone into fixing this, rather than all of the zones.
Well, I agree with you. I paid over $400,000.
So, you guys,
And I live on top of the sewage
you're a
treatment.
condo, this didn't count tap fee, which is just.
Yeah.
And so they should have done, did we have tap fees also? When
I didn't.
It
I don't
seemed
know.
to me they were like $5,000 for the tap fees. So now you're adding in just a little $600, like it's nothing to us. $600 to a lot of us is a lot of money. And both seem to be saying, well, we'll send the bill out in May. May's next week.
Well, June or whatever. But no, I understand that. But we are getting, think of it as a bank note. We owe, if you have an investor come in here and you owe $500,000 and he calls in the note, that's really all he's doing. He's just calling it, he's giving us a way to call in part of the note and get way over 100% credit against that that receivable account and get a tangible asset in return versus not getting anything. Or you get a group of investors come in here and they start charging 10% a year on a $500,000 receivable. You know, you're going to owe a lot of money. You'll never sell your property, not that you ever plan to, but you have liens everywhere. Jared.
Gary, you don't have any more things here. The 15% that haven't been paid already.
Correct. For La Ventana del Mar, they've paid 10% the last 2 years.
So the amount owed is
500 and some thousand.
in that $600 potential. Two things about that. One, because you're saying that 125% will refer some of that owed.
Correct.
And it's going to be on a basis of individual use.
Pardon?
The rebate is going to be off the $600.
Well, we get a 125% for every 100 we put in. We get a $125 credit against our CAM receivable.
So it's going to take you guys a long time to offset that. You guys need lots of those.
Yeah.
And then, did you just say that with funding, it's going to be not necessary? This $300,000? Did you say that funding will offset that? No.
No.
I think if the developer gets his funding, he will not go ahead with this assessment.
Yeah,
We're
if
still
he
going
pay-
to go to the CAM.
If the developer gets his funding, then this is null and void. We still owe the CAM receivable. That nothing changes there.
But not the $600.
No. If he gets his funding, we won't do the assessment. And if he gets his funding after we do the assessment, before we start construction, we refund the money. Same thing happened with the non-electric grid.
I would go a long way to refer your back.
Yeah, and instead of him taking the money and spending it on, you know, whatever, buying something or going somewhere, or whatever, you know, let your imagination run wild. He's taken his money and he's given us a 25% boost credit against that account, plus he's putting it back in a tangible asset on the ranch. And, you know, the chatter has been over the few years I've been here that he takes the money and runs, or he take whatever he does with it. I don't know. It's none of my business. It's his business, by the way. And I'm not pounding the drum of the, but fact is fact. So if he takes the assessment from the money that's owed him, and he gives us a bump as a credit against that account, but he also takes that money and puts it in a tangible asset to the ranch, then I think it's a win-win situation for everyone.
In terms of the estimate that you have, is this a firm fixed amount of $300,000?
350. Yeah, we have the engineering plans, the studies, and all that. So it's a firm estimate. Now, if we have any monies left over, they'll put in a separate fund, and we'll use that as operating and maintenance costs against our budget. And also, I should mention that during the construction process, Jesus Velarde, who's a resident engineer, you'll probably have seen him here before. He'll be in charge of the project, and then Hans is going to represent the sewage treatment plant committee as an oversight for the committee during the construction of the plant. And we figure it'll take, once we do the bid, or once we get the bids and all that, it'll take about 6 or 8 months to complete it.
If there's 1,150 lots, you're counting the condos and lots on Long County. You're 1,150, how do you come up with 600 per lot?
Most of the lots, there's only actually about 600 some use pay. Lots of other ones. It's a problem.
It's about 648.
Those other lots.
Well, they don't pay any dues at all.
See, but they'll get the benefit, whoever owns it must be happy.
Well, they'll get a
Assessment gets it.
get an assessment against their property, same as their dues are right now for non-payment.
Then the lot's set.
What's different when they sell?
Yeah.
Correct,
Because it's the same with the golf passes.
correct.
There's only, 800 people paying for them instead of 1,150. And so that's where.
Well, that's our problem. If every owner paid their HOA fees, we'd all be flush with money in our budgets. I mean, that's a given.
It's not only that every owner, but a lot of the lots that in return, 50 condos haven't been finished. It's like about 168 or 86 condo owners that still paying dues.
Yeah, we've got 173 to 100, got special arrangement fee. It's 173, 179 condo owners who actually pay their HOA dues, but we've got about 217 owners. Now, if we had all 300 completed with the funding from the developer, of course, this would be off the table too. And everybody was, say everybody paid their HOA fees, and yeah, we'd have a nice budget to work with. But yeah, we're really on a shoestring. I mean, it's pretty amazing what the HOA does with what they have to work with to keep this place going.
The same with La Bacana, there's only about 400 lot owners. It's still dues right now.
Yes, sir.
Let's say the funding doesn't come through from the investment group. The assessments go out. When would you commence work? And then secondly, if the assessments aren't paid, but yet the work is being done, who's going to, do we run the risk that there's going to be a disruption?
Well, good question. When the assessment gets out and we get the money, then we'll do the bid. The bid packages are ready, so it's a quick turnaround as quickly as possible in the U.S. or Mexico, any place. But we're not going to do anything till we have $350,000. We're not going to start the project. If we don't have it, we'll refund the money, or I assume that's what we'll do. But we're not going to piecemeal. We either have it all and do the project, or we don't do anything.
There, given the history of people not paying their HOA dues, I think somebody said the likelihood of the assessment being paid by a lot of these people is slim. So, are you telling us basically that you're going to work forever to collect the extra money, or get them from some other source?
No, 30 days to pay, 90 days max.
I understood that.
And if it's not, then we refund the money, just like the electrical did. No, we're not going to, we either do it or we don't.
But you're basing it on everybody paying.
Well, we're basing it on enough people paying to get $350,000.
Okay.
Keep in mind, if the thing goes down or the environmental people with Mexico government do something and shut this down, for one, I lock it and leave. I got somewhere to go. But everybody else, it could be real inconvenient. So, and it's a real, and obviously I'm not as subjective as maybe some people will be because I live on top of it. And it's running up they fill the trucks and the crap runs all over the water because Daryl and his other brother Daryl are over somewhere taking a smoke break or whatever they're doing. The trucks leak. I mean, it's a S-hole, S-H-I-T hole. And eventually, and it only reached 25,000 gallons a day. So it had, I mean, it's just a joke as far as the capacity for a place this large, and particularly when we get a lot of renters in here on the weekends and stuff. I mean, it's a problem.
I think you misunderstood. We need a contingency plan to take care of nobody, many aren't going to pay, to find some way to build that up to 355. I think it's going to pay.
Well, my contingency plan is if something goes wrong, I lock it and leave. I don't know.
Oh, we can do that too, but
I don't know other people because there isn't any other contingency plan.
Okay.
I mean, that's the truth. Because there are not funds to build a new plant without the assessment or without the developer financing input. And like I said, we spend 80 or 90,000, 80, 85,000 a year between La Ventana and Las Villas on the maintenance of that plant, for the membranes and all that stuff, the workings of it, and to haul the water in and out, and permits to dump it at the lagoons when we have to. So, yeah, it's a big expense, and it's just, just perpetuates itself and just sits there, and, eventually something's going to happen. We just don't know when, but.
Well, I still say 90 days to tell someone they have to come up with $600 is not enough notice. Maybe for all of us that have heard about it that way.
We can't
But
hear, we can't hear you, John. Is there another mic?
I'm just saying that 90 days is not enough notice for people that are not living down here, never heard of this. All of a sudden they get a bill for $600. Most people that I know don't have $600 laying around for something that they know nothing about. And they own the property down here and they paid X amount of dollars for it. And then all of a sudden they get a notice that within 60 days you have to pay $600. It just can't happen. You have to give people notice ahead of time.
Well, they're going to give out, if you recall, we're going to send out an email blast about this in the next couple weeks.
But it's still due in 90 days.
Pardon?
It's still due in 90 days.
Correct.
So like the 350,000 means 584 owners that will put in that 600 to do it. Is that 100% of the lots and condos that are sold?
No, it's based on the current dues paying owners. About 648, 650, something like that. I'd have to look at the statistics. Yes.
I think where you might run into some trouble is people like us who have condos and will pay on the condo, and we have an empty lot in Montana. And I resent paying on that because we've already paid the tap fees of almost $6,000 on that lot, and we have nothing. That was part of our contract. We followed the contract. We pay our dues. But I'm really not going to pay that $600 on an empty lot.
Okay.
So you're going to have to deal with me in that respect.
That's fine. We will. The $600 tap, I don't know anything about that. Whatever you pay, that's just to tap into the gravity-fed system for your sewer. I don't think it had anything to do with the sewage treatment plant, but.
To hook it up to sewer.
That was supposed to be the connection between the sewage treatment plant and your house. I mean, you're a real estate, you know that, that's what that was about.
It's part of the contract and we paid it.
Right.
But it was, and I don't feel I should have to
Well,
pay
I
it.
am the same boat.
The tap fee was to hook the pipes up to your individual lot. We paid one, we have a lot as well as a condo. Has nothing to do with the actual septic system treatment plant. It was the pipe and the digging to hook your lot up.
It was
That's what we're
assumed.
supposed to get sewage.
No, it's part of, you pay for a tap into the infrastructure.
Right.
That's,
Did I hear you correctly that this assessment will only be placed on those people who are paying their dues?
Yeah.
well,
The ones that aren't
no,
paying their dues will
no,
not be
no.
assessed?
Everybody will be assessed. The computation dollars and amount were based on current dues paying owners because we wanted to be realistic. If we have X number of due paying owners, how much will it take to do the $350,000 project? No, everybody's going to be assessed.
So 648 people are currently paying their dues at 600 each is about $400,000.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Gary, well, what if we get close to 350? We don't get 350.
No, my only position right now on that is unless somebody comes up with the other money, then we refund it to the owners, the same as the non-electric did. The non-electric group, they did an assessment, about $3,000 each, and they didn't get enough money to do the project, so they refunded the money to the owners, and we'll do the same thing.
It was 24.
24. Okay, thanks for your participation. Hopefully, I'm sure you hope, and I do too, that the developer gets the funding, but I think we have to be prudent in facing the realities of some things that you can't put off too long, and is there a way to get it done? And this seemed to be the best, the only viable solution to come up with, where we at least got some bang for our bucks against a receivable account. All right.
Can I ask a general question?
Yes.
It sounds like you know more than we do. I haven't
We cannot hear you.
I'm trying to understand the people who, and this isn't part of what you're doing, but the others who don't pay their HOA dues, do they get to come here and use their place and go to the pool and, they can go to their home or their condominium and have the use of the pool and everything else? I can answer you from personal experience. 27th of this month, I'll be here a year. Came down upset because my condo in 2009 was almost complete and they did nothing to finish it. Plus, I lost my gate, I lost my window screens. They came in the house and took light covers, fixtures, I'm assuming, to finish other units. I just paid my dues for 2016, and I'm paying one payment on my past dues. So I'm now currently, I'm paying now, but I had a hard time getting in the gate. I couldn't use anything. Can't use anything. I had a hard time, in the beginning, they were trying to get my husband out of the condo to come say I could come in. We were in the unit, we paid cash for it in 2006, so we did pay for it. But I was upset that since I came down here in 2009 when my mother was ill, that I couldn't come again until she passed, that they not only didn't finish the work that they agreed to, we were on a generator at the time, we didn't have electricity, but they borrowed parts from the unit and they refused to finish it back up. So I got to finish it. I got it. But no, you can live in it, I guess, if you own it outright, but you can't use the facilities.
I have a question. How many years did you have to wait? You said you bought it in 2006.
It was completed in 2009.
So did you pay HOA from 2009 to 2016?
No, she didn't take possession.
No. They're charging me for $700 a month to pay. No.
Well, your question was, if you don't pay HOA fees, then you don't get to use the unit.
No.
You can use the
You
unit.
can use a unit, but you don't get to use any facilities.
And you don't get sticker?
You don't get a sticker for your car.
Come in and out.
Yeah.
You can't have guests come in and out.
Can't have gas, you can't rent it.
You can't lease.
I mean, I'm just curious, it sounds like yours is somewhat of a hardship situation, but it's amazing to me that there's no recourse. It seems, and I just wondered if people get to come, stay at their place, use the amenities, and just not pay the HOA.
I lost my home for 22 years. I'm down here.
Ted, did you have a question, Charles?
This is a different subject, and I don't even know if you know, but several years ago, it was bannered about, instead of the seaside paying all the assessment for the golf course, they were going to talk about doing an assessment for the mountainside and the seaside, making it more, well, actually more money, but for the golf course, but more equitable. They say on the mountainside that we don't profit on our property from having a golf course here, but I don't believe that's true. Having been in real estate for several years in the States, they're in the vicinity where they profit from it if they want to sell their property.
Well, answer your question, no. There's not any current discussions as it relates to the mountainside and golf course assessment as it relates to the seaside. Pardon? Well, there isn't a name. You give me 9 months. They're just,
I mean,
There is no golf course assessment. Even on this side, it's not an assessment. It's a contract. It's different between assessment and contract.
well, okay, but anyway, there's not any talk on the mount side. Martin?
Hey, Gary, I think we're going away from me.
Yeah.
The way I think about it, it's unpleasant also, I find it pleasant to pay the fee, $10. But it sounds to me like, if you think about it, you know, Butler's put in $3 million on the other sewage treatment. I mean, and I've been by that plant, I smelled it, it's wet down there, it's obviously, if it goes down, we're all in big trouble. And the way I look at it, if we had to start over, instead of being $600, because he's invested $3 million and we're talking $300,000 to complete it, which is only another 10% only. But still, if we had to start over, the assessment would be $6,000 and not $600. So kind of think about that, because if it stops working, we're all in big trouble. So to me, it makes sense, and I appreciate you being the agent of change here.
I cannot follow your logic. I will explain to you why.
I cannot follow your logic, and I will explain to you why. When property Laventana and Willis was developed and registered with City of Mexicali, it was registered with sewer treatment plan and with hard paved roads. In other way, Laventana will not exist. So this is why I cannot follow your logic. Okay? Pat Butler could not sell Laventana without building this plan, because it was registered with the sewer treatment plan. Go to the city and you can read it.
Okay, thanks for your attendance. This presentation will be on the HOA website, and if you have any questions, I think most of you have my email. Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thanks for your work.
Question, I did stop paying shopping your
should say southern.
How long have you down from now? How long are you down there?
We'll probably be here till the end of May. Yeah.
That's gonna take the heat, eh?
Well, it's not too hot.
We got word from it was 90 degrees this week, so at least we have nice breezes here.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Everything's working right now.
If you need a snake, Jerry has a snake.
No, this is in San Diego.
Oh, in San Diego.
Oh,
I
in
was
San Diego.
gonna say.
Well, you can find the snake there. You can't find one here. So, you still associated with Force India?
Yeah, we're working with my boss at the moment. We're having serious trouble.